Hey, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night call. Again, like I said on the call page, I guess you can say the event page on Facebook. We used to do these calls every Sunday night, but we stopped doing them. So make sure that you're taking advantage. If you haven't shared the event or the call information with your team, go right ahead. The call will probably go to 8 o'clock, so they still have time to get on the call because it's just now getting started. So go ahead and share the information with your teammates, your fellow Avon friends, because I'm not sure when the next open call is going to be. So just make sure you take advantage whenever we post that we're holding a conference call or we're holding a webinar. Make sure that you share the information with your teammates, especially because you want your team to grow, especially now with the holiday season coming up. And it looks like from the title of the call, many of you were saying that this call was just in time, I guess, for yourself and your business. And don't worry, all of us feel like that at one point in our business where we feel like we're stuck, or we feel like we haven't moved the business as much that we want to at a time. And if this is your first time getting on a conference call with us, I'm just going to share a little bit of information about myself and my husband, Gary. If you guys don't know, we've been in Avon for 6 years. When I first started Avon, I was working a full-time job at a call center, meaning I couldn't even get off the phone to speak to a lead or a prospect or anybody about the business during the work hours. And we had 3 small children at the time at the house. So I was working a full-time job from 9 to 5, coming home, getting the kids. By the time I got home, we used to live in New York City. By the time I got home, it was probably almost close to 6:30, 7 o'clock from leaving at 5 o'clock because of the traffic. So by the time I got home, I ate real quick, got the kids showered up and ready for bed. So how much time do you think I really got to spend with them at all as far as working that full-time job Monday through Friday? 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, not being, if there was an emergency, I got in trouble if I missed work, whatever it was. And anybody has ever worked at a call center, you know that every minute counts, that you're off the phone, that you're away from your desk, everything is counted. So anytime, I remember one time I got in a car accident, not a severe one, but a minor car accident in the front of the call center office, and I actually got in trouble for going back outside and clocking off the system to get my license plate, which had fell off when I hit the person in the back of their car. Slid into the person in the back of their car. So it was a very, I guess you can say, a childish job to me because they monitored everything. But what I did for when I first started Avon was I took advantage of everything. I got on the computer, and that's where many of you know us of doing our business online, and that's where that started because I wasn't able to speak over the phone with anybody or speak to coworkers, really. There was no time to do that. That's where that online business has started. Back then, I would be on the computer sneaking at the job to place ads online, anywhere that I can advertise our business for free. And it was just me. So Gary didn't start Avon with me in the beginning because many of you guys always say, oh, I wish I had a husband like Gary with me in the business. It wasn't like that in the beginning. It was just me for 2 years, almost 3 years, 2.5 years, working the business by yourself. So you don't need anybody. You just have to show them that it can be possible with your Avon business yourself. So that business got started. We were, from the very beginning, we started building teammates throughout the United States very slowly. And going back to what the call is about, you're where you're supposed to be. I went to unit leader, I believe it was after a week, moved up to unit leader, and then made advanced unit leader. Less than 6 months we made it advanced unit leader back then. And I stayed at that level for 2 years. I was not happy that I stayed at that level for 2 years, but it goes back to what the name of the call is about. You're where you're supposed to be. We were able to move our family from New York City to Texas after being in Avon for 2 years. We moved here in July of 2011. Gary got a part-time job. My income was still sustainable, so I didn't have to really get a job. Our team was big for an Advancing a Leader team, but guess what? We had enough in place because we were where we were supposed to be at that time. In October, we looked at the business, and Gary said, I want to help you, because we had been in other network marketing companies before, and really Gary had really focused in other network marketings before more seriously than I had. So he said, why, if I join you, and this is October of 2011, he said, if I join you, I want to share everything with the team, because he had really not been involved with the business at that point. I want to share what I know works as far as online, as far as leadership trainings. I want to share, would you mind, partnering so we can do this together. That was October 2011. By February of 2012, so 4 months later, we made it to the highest level in Avon. So just in 4 months, because we had in place, we were exactly where we were supposed to be. We just needed more people in different places. We were exactly where we were supposed to be. We had so much in October when we moved here in Texas. I've always had the sales for senior, but we didn't have people where they needed to be. All we had to do was fill in the blanks, and we moved up to senior executive that same 4 months later. So if you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, just know there's a reason why you're maybe stagnant. If you're working on, especially if you're working on the business every day. I was working on the business every day while the coworkers were joking around. I was placing ads online, joking around, and it's funny, and then placing that online. Whatever, while everybody's hanging out, maybe you're younger, maybe your friends are hanging out in a club, as long as you guys are working on your business, something every day, and if this is your business full-time, you should be doing this about 8 hours a day. You should be doing something to your business as if you were working a full-time job. You should be doing something every day to get yourself where you're supposed to be, because guess what? When it does happen and when it does all take place, you'll be like us, reaching the highest level at the time. That was at the time back in 2012. Reaching the highest level at the time because it has no choice but to happen. And I know if this is the first time you're getting on the call, you're like, oh, my gosh, that was just after 3 years. We made it after 3 years to the highest level. You guys can make it faster. So if this is your first call, maybe you just started Avon yesterday, you can reach the highest level of the company way faster than anybody out there. Don't look at other leaders and say, oh, it took 15 years. It doesn't have to take you 15 years. It doesn't have to take you 3 years. We tell that to our team all the time. You guys can get there way faster than us, but make sure what you're doing is putting into place so much that it has no choice but to happen. Do something every day to your business. Every day, do something for your business so that when it all happens, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? It came from that entire year maybe that you worked on your business, that entire 2 years that you worked on your business, that entire 5 years, whatever, however long you've been in Avon. You can start like I said, you can start today and knock everybody out the box in your district, knock everybody out the box in your state, just by doing something to your business every day. And trust me, how about you make me a bet from this call to the next call? If you work your business every day, let's say our call is next year, the next call is next year. If you bet me, take a bet, why not? Work your business every day, do something to your business every day, and you can't tell me that nothing happens to your business. You can't say, oh, I didn't get a recruit, or I didn't get a sale, if you didn't work your business every day. So I hope that, helped encourage you guys. Many of you guys always ask us for things about online stuff, and, if you didn't see the event page, I'll post it on the call page. When I get off the phone, we're actually hosting a webinar on that, and Gary will probably touch base more on that, on how we get leads how we get people to find us online. So we'll have a webinar on that for Tuesday. So we're giving you 2 back-to-back call, I guess a call and a webinar of information. So if, like I said, if for this call, if you haven't invited a new teammate, whoever you just signed up right now, invite them. And if you haven't, make sure that they're invited to the webinar because, again, we're not going back to open Sunday night calls, but we just felt like we had some information to share with you guys, okay? So here's Gary with the rest of the information. So if you don't have a pen and paper, make sure you get it.
Thank you so much for that, Lynette. Just to let everybody know the clarification, the reason why we decided not to do the calls was not because we just decided not to do the calls. Avon, fortunately, created a new level. They created an even higher level than the senior executive unit leader level. And the average income for that, it's over $100,000 a year. They created a national senior executive unit leader level, which is actually 2 levels above where we are now as executive unit leaders. So Lynette and I decided that, we needed to spend more time on growing our team so that way we can not only get our highest level back that we achieved, which was senior executive unit leader, we want to be able to position ourselves to get to the national senior executive unit leader. So that took a lot of time doing the calls every week. It took a lot of time from us to be able to plan it, make sure it's powerful, make sure you guys get the right information. So that's why we decided to go and do them every so often. Depends on what type of spirit we're in, what type of because we're always constantly giving out information, always constantly sharing information. So, in this format, we had to slow it down a little bit so that way we can concentrate on growth. So the reason why I decided to come out with this call and decided to come up with this title is I was watching something. I don't know, a lot of people know Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. You can call him Tony Robbins if you want, if you know him by that name. But he was mentored by Jim Rohn. And everybody knows the late, great Jim Rohn, how powerful he is. He was, multi-millionaire with Herbalife. And, he became a motivational speaker. And he helps change so many lives. And he's still going to help change so many lives. And I was listening to a recording of Awakening the Giant Within. And I love that recording over and over. I remember, I do my thing on the computer. I was able to get a pirated copy. I'm sorry, I always, have ways to do things like that. But I felt like I should have paid Tony Robbins for making that recording right after I listened to it. And now I'm in the hundreds of times that I've listened to it. I take my car and I turn it into a drive time university in which I play the CDs. And it was some stories that came on there. And I'm going to mention two stories, but one of them really impacted me the most about how people were going through, certain people would go through certain situations. And I want to give you a quote by Les Brown. Les Brown did a speech in front of, I don't know what company it was, but it was definitely a network marketing company. And he said something that really resonated with me. And this is something that I'm going to always keep. It is edged into my cells, into my DNA. And this is what he said. And I want you to write this quote down. You must remain patient and engage in consistent massive action. You must remain patient and engage in consistent massive action. See, that is so powerful because that's what people who are frustrated that are around you, people, even if you're that person that's frustrated, the reason why you are frustrated is because you don't understand that you must remain patient but engage in consistent massive actions. You see, Lynette didn't say that she was not doing anything every day. She said she was doing something every day even when I wasn't around. And I was doing something every day in my other businesses that were not as easy to duplicate as it is in Avon. So, we were constantly engaging in massive action, consistent massive action. I've seen people say, post something on Facebook or they'll post something here and they'll say it's not working, or I put an ad in the paper, it's not working. It's not working because right now it is not time for you to get where you have to be. But you have to keep doing it, but remain patient as you keep going out there and putting those ads. Because believe it or not, let's just say on a daily basis, I haven't even checked my email today. If you've been on Facebook, I probably posted, just one picture today on Facebook. Maybe said a couple of happy birthdays. But I didn't even check my email. But on a daily basis, I get anywhere from 5 to 15 opt-ins into my website, any one of my websites that I post online. And that includes Lynette and I together, 5 to 15 people that are constantly seeking information, either our training products, or either they want to join Avon, or they're interested in the marketing system I use, anything. 5 to 15 per day. But guess what? That didn't start out like that. that. It started out with me posting like crazy, me advertising like crazy, me engaging in consistent massive action to get -5 people, to get -10 people. Nobody was opting in. Nobody was giving me their name and information. Nobody was asking to join us in Avon. Nobody was asking us to, about the training process because they wasn't there at the time. Nobody was asking. But if we didn't remain patient and kept engaging in this consistent massive action, that number of -5, of -10 started turning into 1. Started turning into 2. It would turn into maybe 1 a week, 1 a month, 2 a week, 3, to the point where it starts growing and growing. See, I want you to listen to this real quick. This is very important. See, you know what the reason why most people don't understand that they are exactly where they're supposed to be, but you shouldn't quit? It's because they spend too much time blaming themselves for where they are right now. They spend way too much time blaming themselves for where they are right now. Because you know how I can tell? When I get those emails from people asking me certain questions, when I get those phone calls from people, and all I hear is this: well, I'm not really there yet. I'm not where I'm supposed, I don't know why it's happening. I'm just not. All this doubtful language. You have to change your language. You have to change your words. You have to change those things. But it first starts by changing your thoughts. If you keep thinking that you're just, I've been an executive unit leader forever, and I'm never going to hit senior. That's too far off. That's why you're not hitting it. I'm just a unit leader. I lost my title back then, and I finally got it back, but I don't know. I don't even see myself getting to the way up there where I'm supposed to be. That's why you're not getting there. You want to know why? I've been watching our motivational, inspirational Facebook page. I've been watching it carefully, and I've been seeing that the more positive pushing that me and Lynette push on that page, the more motivational, inspirational, and the more deletion of negative information, the more deletion of woe is me, complaining, worm in the dust mentality, I've noticed that more people are not posting on there. And I'm kind of glad because we're weaning out all the negative crybabies and keeping the motivational and positive and inspirational people. Because what you focus on, you bring to life, period, point blank. So if you're focusing on that you're never going to become a national senior executive unit leader, you're not going to become a national senior executive unit leader with Avon. You ain't got to worry about watching CNN. I'm going to give you the news forecast. You don't got to worry about watching the Weather Channel. I'm going to give you the forecast. You're not going to hit it. Because you get what you focus on. You get what your intention is put out with your purpose. Everybody has to live with purpose. And if your purpose is to get up every day and sound woe is me, sound worm in the dust, sound like it's not going to happen for you, guess what? It's not going to happen for you. See, what you need to do is not spend your time blaming on where you are, complaining, moaning, and using the word starts with a B and ends with an H. You need to stop worrying about that. What you need to do is spend most of your time on finding people who want to be successful. See, the reason why you're not getting to the next level, and the reason why some of us are losing our titles and some of us are not making it, is because we are not spending our time finding the right people. That's why Lynette and I had to stop, because we hit the senior executive unit leader twice, and we lost it because we thought we had the right people, but we made the wrong actions. We made them become who they were not ready to be. You should never make somebody a unit leader by giving them 5 people. You should never make somebody a unit leader plus by giving them 8 people. You should never make somebody who doesn't want to make it for themselves. Don't ever do that. See, a lot of people don't understand when we teach about how when you generate leads, what to do with your leads, just help them with your team. Never give it to anybody who don't want it. Never give it to anybody. And you know how you can tell why they don't want it? One word. I'm going to give you one word. It's like a gauge when you're driving to know how fast you are going. One word: attitude. If their attitude is not an attitude of hunger, an attitude of desire. We have a teammate that on our team that doesn't speak a lick of English. She can understand some of it, but she doesn't speak a lick of English. She was in Mexico, and she knew that there was going to be an event taking place to celebrate the season this Friday, and she wanted to make sure she was there to support her team, to bring her teammates there. Guess what she did? She said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to make sure I get there some kind of way, and this lady is up in her age. She's 63 years old, up in her age, and she does not let her stop her because she has a design. You saw a post about Roberta. She does not stop, and that's what we need to do. I told her that. We need to find more Robertas for our team. then we'll get our title back because she'll be getting her title. And that's what we need. We need to find 10 more people that are just like us, that are just like Roberta, instead of spending our time worrying about the fact that you are not a senior executive unit leader and every year keeps going by and you have not made it. Every year keeps going by and you have not made executive. Every year keeps going by and you have not got advanced. Stop worrying about that because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. But if you quit and you worry and you moan and you be and do all, you know what I mean when I say be, if you do all that, guess what's going to come up? More moaning, more complaining, more being, all of that is going to come up. You have to stay focused and you have to be patient and you have to engage in consistent massive action because at the end of this call, I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to be patient and you need to be engaging in consistent massive action. See, this is another thing that I want you to understand. Everything has a season. Everything has a season. But when it's not your season, you must still press on. See, the flowers bloom in the springtime, but during the winter, they're pushing on still. You may not see it. They're in the ground pushing on. The grass is pushing itself up through the dirt. It's pushing itself out through the seeds. It's moving. You just don't see it. So that way when, guess what, this season comes, which is the spring, you start seeing the blossoming. You start seeing the sprouting. You start seeing the growing. You start to see it. The trees change. The trees start blooming and more green. Everything has a season. And the reason why you haven't moved yet is because your season is not there. It's not your time yet. But if you don't keep moving when no one else is looking, if you don't keep prospecting people and you don't keep handing out brochures and working table events and posting online, when your season is not there, guess what's going to happen? When your season shows up, it's going to choose someone else. Because you have not paid the price of the price that the grass is paying when it's going through the dirt. You don't think it's a struggle just because we don't see it to get to that through the dirt and push yourself up? Try to bury yourself tonight in some dirt and see how it is to try to push yourself back out. It's hard, but just because you don't see it don't mean that you still should not push on and press on and keep going out there and handing out brochures and asking people and talking to people and letting them know what you do. Let them know who you are. Let them know what kind of benefits it is to join your team and why they need to join your team, because you're delivering hope. Too many times we answer the questions to the prospects without them even opening their mouth. We answer their questions. Guess what the question is? He won't join. She won't join me. No, they're not interested. How do you know if you don't open your mouth, if you don't press on, if you don't push on, if you know that right now this is not your season, but by daggone it, I'm going to be ready when my season is there because I'm going to position myself. People ask, how did you guys move all the way to San Antonio, Texas from New York City with just an advanced unit leader salary? Guess why? Because we kept going wide, first gen like crazy. And then we was teaching our first gen to get first gen like crazy. And then we was telling that first gen to teach that first gen to get first gen like crazy. And that's how we had so many people on our team, so that way we were positioned that once we pop right into executive and then pop right into senior, we was able to live comfortably like that because we kept taking massive action to get our business out there. See, right now, maybe I might have not put a post on Facebook, but guess what? My ads are still running. How come? Because everything you put on the internet is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I have people who have found me. True story, and I don't know if I mentioned this before. True story. A lady called me a while ago, and she had some questions. I had a good time, and I said, okay, I can talk to you. We talked for a little while, and she was practically crying like her eyes out on the phone saying, you don't know how, because I always ask people, how did you find me online? And she said, you have no idea what happened to me. I was at my lowest lowest point. I really kept saying there's got to be a way that I can start doing stuff in Avon in which I can attract more people. It's got to be a way, and I just can't find it. And I don't know what happened. She said, I landed on your YouTube channel, and I started bawling. I started crying. I could not believe it that, the things you were saying. Just celebrate the season. Friday. I'm talking to someone about our training products and how, to capitalize on the changes that Avon is doing as far as pushing towards social media and how they can use it in addition to our training products, which can help them. This lady came and I'm watching her and I'm like, is she having a seizure? What's going on? I didn't know what was going on. But you can see the glow on her face when she saw my wife and I, and it just solidified to the people who had no idea who I was that was at the Celebrate the Season. And she said, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I've been watching your channel. I've been watching your videos, and I'm guilty. I haven't done a couple of videos in a while because I'm trying to make them a little bit more professional, green screens, things like that. So stay tuned for me. I'm going to be back out there. But that, just to let you know, she said she was so excited, and you can see the enthusiasm popping out, the excitement popping off her face, and it just goes to show you that's what you want. You want to have that impact on people. You want to have that excitement in which people can find you, whether you're posting online or not. You want to be already on there so they can know. They can find. She said she watched my channel a while ago, and she just saw my Facebook channel. She didn't even know, and that's what I'm talking about. You want to. Oh, and why did she find me? Why? Because I engaged in consistent, massive action. Did I know I was going to see her on Friday? No. I had no clue. Did I know that lady was going to call me call me and say that she saw me at 1:30 in the morning and when she was crying at the lowest point? No. I didn't know that was going to happen. I don't know who I'm going to meet. I may meet my millionaire in Avon tomorrow. The person who's going to take our business to the next level, we may meet them tomorrow, online or offline. But we won't know if we're not there remaining patient and engaging in consistent, massive action. Because we know we are supposed to be where we are right now. See, we don't. When you're mad at where you are right now, believe it or not, you're sending vibrations out, energy out into the universe. And guess what's going to happen? Like energy attracts like energy, and you're going to get more of "I'm not going to never make it." You're going to get more of "I'm not moving." You're going to get more of that. No, you need to say, I am so glad every day that I'm working towards a title advancement in Avon. I am so glad every day I am working towards getting 100 people first generation. I am working so hard on getting 10,000 people on my team first, second, and third generation. Say that every day. I am so glad you constantly, because what you tell yourself and what you tell the universe, what you tell, what I call God, when you speak out there, it's going to come back to you. Another thing, this is another thing you need to understand, that when you encounter a setback, it's because life is trying to teach you something. Life is like an instructor, and they're sitting in front of a classroom, and guess what they're doing? They're trying to show you something because you're not ready for that yet. So they're trying to show you something so that you can do what? Learn from it. Your job is to get the lesson. If I had a brand new car and I let my 9-year-old son go out there and drive it, at 9 years old having no knowledge, what do you think the first thing's going to happen? He's going to push the pedals down. He's going to hold the steering. He's going to think that he's Mario Andretti when he's going to run right into the back of another car. He may run into a pole, he may run into a swimming pool, he may run into anything because he's not ready yet. So that's a setback. The setback is he has to learn how to drive the car. He's not ready yet. That's life teaching you. Maybe you're not ready to get that next title advancement yet. It's not your season to get that next title advancement yet. But that's what you need to do. You need to get better at your skill. Get better at your craft. What's your craft? Learning how to attract people to join you in your business. Learning how to attract new customers to stay with you and repeat and buy from you in your business. You have to get better. Maybe you're not talking well enough. Maybe you're not saying the right things. Maybe you're not giving out the right information. That's where you need to go back to school and learn. Whether the school is a physical school, whether the school is YouTube, Google, which is my favorite school, whether the school is our training products, whether the school is your upline or your district sales manager, or your division, whoever it may be, that's what you need to do. You need to learn that it's just life trying to teach you something, and you just have to learn the lesson that it's trying to teach you. Let me give you some examples of some powerful people who went out there and they encountered massive failures, massive setbacks, but they knew they was exactly where they were supposed to be, and they knew not to quit. A story that was told by Anthony Robbins with Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if you ever heard of the Rocky story. I don't know if you ever heard of Sylvester Stallone's story of how he started Rocky. I'm not going to go way too much in it because I'm going to save the best, which I like, for last. And I want you to hear this. He always wanted to be in the movie business. Always. Why? Because he wanted to inspire people. He wanted them to know that they can overcome obstacles similar to what happened to him. When he was born, he had to be pulled out with forceps. That's why he talks the way he do. Yo, Adrian, and talks sideways on the side of his mouth. That's why he talks like he does. Because he wanted to show people that you can overcome. Don't let that minor setback, which may in some people's life be a major setback. And I'm so proud of a friend, and I'm going to name her name, Candace Harrison, a Facebook friend that's on here that became a great friend to Lynette and I. Candace Harrison, we're so proud of her. You know, this lady was born with certain disabilities, and she never let that stop her. She's still hungry. She's still engaged in massive action. She's out there making investments into Ray Higdon, one of the multimillionaires in this industry, making investments to his learning school and going out there and applying what he taught her and what he's teaching her. Did she say, wait, I was born with disabilities. I can't do that. I'm not supposed to do that. Did she say that? Did Sylvester Stallone say, I talk sideways. I talk out my mouth sideways. I have a deep, weird voice. I'm not supposed to be in the movie business. Is that what he said? No, not at all. He was constantly refused because of the way he talked. He said he was thrown out of 15 different auditions in New York. And Tony Robbins asked him, he said, 1,500. And he said, 1,500? There's not that many things going on in New York like that. He said, no, I was thrown out of them each maybe 5 to 10 times out of one of them. And then another one 5 to 10 times because of the way I talked, because of the way I looked and the way I was. And I looked at, out of place and everything. He said that. I was constantly received no after no after no. How many of you right now would have quit if that was happening to you? How many of you wouldn't even got started first because of the way because of the way you talk or the way you look or the way you feel about yourself? How many of you wouldn't even get started? Think about that. So many people, Les Brown said something that's really powerful. He said one of the most richest places, and I dubbed this and I duplicated and I loved what he said. Richest places in the world are graveyards, because that's where so many dreams, so many inventions, so many aspirations, so many things are put to death or buried because people were so afraid to act on what they should be and what they know they should be and what they must be. It's the richest place in the world. That's where all the multimillionaires who could have been multimillionaires just died, where all the people who could have been great inventors just died because they gave up. He said so many people are dead at age 20, but they get buried at age 60. So that means they live 40 years of their life dead, walking around here like the Walking Dead. No, not doing anything. And that's what we have to stop. You are where you're supposed to be. See, eventually, after all of that, he became the starring role in the movie that he produced that they said no, that they laughed at, said it wouldn't work. He became the star. And to this day, Rocky is still one of the most popular movies out there. All because he had a dream and he was hungry and he took action and he remained patient. Think about that. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at the things that happened to him. Look at his first movie that he wanted to be in the movies also. His first movie, they took his voice off. They took his voice off. They said, no, we can't. Your voice accent's too terrible. Nope. And they changed it. Hercules in New York took his voice off. How embarrassing can that be? Give me a second.
Can you guys hear me okay now? Okay, perfect. He took his voice off. Now think about that. How would you feel is that your body, your movement, your activity is being dubbed by another voice? Think about that. That is so hard. But did he quit? Did he give up? Did he complain? No. He remained hungry. This man came over here, wasn't born in this country, and became a governor of one of our states here in the United States. Look at the hunger and the desire of that man. Think about that. And did he not? You don't think it was hard for him in the beginning? But he remained patient and he engaged in consistent, massive action. And now my favorite story of all, I don't know if anybody out here knows what a Honda Accord automobile is, knows what an Acura is, knows what a Honda Civic is. Well, think about this. Honda was a man. Let me tell you a little bit of story about Honda and the things he had to go through. He started repairing bikes as a boy. At age 15, he knew that cars would be the way of the future. Right there, that man's a visionary. That man sees things. He sees opportunity. When I sit in certain places, I'm like, I see an opportunity to be able to inspire someone. When I was at the event in Orlando, Florida, and they had the social media portion, which means Lynette and I took the class, my first thing was most people was looking at, oh, wow, this can't work for me, or they were saying whatever was going on in their head. Guess what I said? Here's an opportunity for me to put together a training product, an affordable training product that will be able to help Avon reps capitalize on and maximize the changes that Avon put together as far as the social media push that they're doing. That was my opportunity. I walked out and Lynette said, what's wrong? What's the matter? And I said, Lynette, you didn't just see what I saw? I saw hundreds of Avon reps watching my video on how to utilize and maximize how to brand their Avon business online. I saw hundreds, and I didn't even make the product yet. I saw hundreds. I'm at the point now where I see thousands of Avon reps going out there and maximizing what Avon did as far as the push for social media. See, same thing Honda. At the age 17, Honda he built his first racing car at 17. See, he saw the vision. He saw it. He seized it before he went and seized it. Let me give you something that you need to never, ever, ever, ever say. I'm going to give you a quote that you should never say. And whenever someone that you talk to acts this way, know this in your heart, in your soul, in your mind. You can't help them. You can't help them. Let me give you that quote. The worst thing a man or a woman can do is say, I already know all about that already. You ain't got to teach me no more. I already know all about that. See, Michael Jordan was one of the best basketball players in the world. And guess what? He still had a coach. You got some of the best athletes out there have coaches. Those coaches cannot perform like they can, but they still have a coach. The worst thing a man or woman can ever do is say, I already know everything about that already. I already know. You don't got to tell me. Whenever I talk to someone and they have a reaction like that, my mind, before it used to take me a little time, I used to try to convince them, try to say, no, let me show you. But guess what? I say to myself instantaneously now. It takes a super-duper nanosecond for me to change. And I go, in my mind, I can't help them. Time to move on, change subject. I can't help you. Can't help you. It's nothing I can do. Because you know everything already. See, I never say I know it. I'm always learning. I love what Ray Higgins says. He always says, I'm always learning. All the big people out there are always learning. I remember listening to Vince Reed, another multimillionaire in the industry, internet marketer. He said something so powerful. He said he went to an event in Austin, Texas about 2 weeks ago, an event that I wish I could attend. I couldn't, for some reason, and I couldn't make it. But, he said, and people were looking at him like, why are you here? Why are you here and you're not one of the speakers? And guess what he said without missing a beat? He said, because there's always something to learn. And if you tell yourself and tell your mind that there's nothing to learn, you will never learn. See, I can't stand people that I don't got that. I get emails. I get lots of emails saying thank you, testimony about my training product. But then I get those little few emails that say, I can't afford it. They probably can't help me anyway. And guess what I say? Yup, they can't. Yup, you can't afford it. You're right. You can't. You can't afford it. Yep. It's only $9.95 to learn how to brand your business and capitalize on what Avon did. Yep. And you get hours of training. You're right. You can't afford it. It can't help you. I say just like that. One person asked me, is this free? Will I be able to get it for free? And I wanted to say, no, but not. I guess what I said. Did y'all hear that? That's what I said. Nothing. Because if you're looking for a freeway, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to go, if you live in New York City, you're going to have to go to the Conduit, go to the Belt Parkway, go to Southern State. If you live out here, you got to go 410 because there's no freeway to be successful in this world. No freeway. Let me tell you more about Honda. He wanted to sell his concept of the piston ring, which he had created to Toyota. So he worked his butt off. He worked his and I'm not going to say the rest, off, invested everything he owned into a little machine shop to create the piston ring. He went as far as pawning his wife's jewelry. Now, you know he had some sleepless nights in Seattle, did he not? Because he was in there pawning his wife's jewelry on this investment, not knowing what would happen, not knowing what the outcome was going to be. I bet he was a super couch potato because he had no bedroom action because you're selling the jewelry. Not unless she understood the dream and she saw it with him, just to stay in business because he wanted to give this concept to Toyota. Guess what happened? He did all of that just to find out that Toyota told him that his piston ring wasn't up to the standards. He almost lost everything. Everything. But did he complain? Did he quit? No. Guess what he did? He decided to get better. He decided that he needed to know more, that he needed to learn more, that he wasn't up to standards of what he wasn't ready yet. He thought he knew it, but he didn't. But he could have did like most people do. Guess what most people do? I already know all about this already. You ain't got to tell me no more. I already know all about this. I already know all about this. And you know what I do? I laugh at them. You know why I laugh at them? Because I know that things change. So how do you know everything about it? You can see the future? Are you, a mutant or something? You can't see the future. So you don't know everything about everything. So stop saying that before I hit you upside the head with something. That's what I want to say. But that's what Honda did. He didn't give up. He went back to engineering school to get better at his craft. And I still hear those, I can't afford y'all training products. I hear people who say they can't afford our training products, but yet don't invest any time to go on Pathways, which is free on the Avon website. They don't even watch those. I've been at meetings where I said, how many people have watched the Pathways? And when it was called the other thing before, I said, how many people have watched it? And I said, there's a few people who raised their hand. Then I say, okay, out of those people that have their hands raised, how many people watch it twice? More hands go down. How many people watch it 3 times? No hands come up. So you mean to tell me you think you know everything about how to grow your Avon business? You don't, because changes happen. They could change something right now and announce it tomorrow. And you think you already knew that was going to happen or how to get around it? I love people like Lisa Wilbur, who always knows that the company's changing. She's been around for a while knowing that its company's changing, it's growing. And she's always going around those changes, knowing that she doesn't know everything. She just knows one thing. She wants it. She's going to go get it. She has patience. She's taking a massive action, and that's what's happening to her. And that's why she has the income level that she has. There are people that have been in Avon the same amount of time she has, and guess what happens? They go to the PC Gala, and they just get the centerpiece for having the most times, the most LOAs, the length of association in Avon. She ain't walking out of there with just no centerpiece. She may get the centerpiece, but I guarantee she's getting a couple of those $10,000, $9,000, $16,000, $10,000 checks every 2 weeks. She's getting those. Because she doesn't think she knows everything. She knows she doesn't know everything. And that's the problem that so many people have. They don't think like Honda. They don't think like Honda. He had his instructors laughing at his concept of the piston ring. He had his teachers, some of his fellow students laughing at it. But guess what he did? Instead of listening to them and blaming himself, he stayed focused on achieving his goals. Focus. That's why you always see when I post on Facebook, I used to say determined. But you know what? Determined doesn't mean it's much powerful of a word for me, Gary, as focused. Because what you focus on, you can take a light and you can narrow its focus so precise that it becomes a deadly, dangerous instrument of a laser. Focus is so much more powerful. Focus. See, that's the reason why maybe an emergency room doctor doesn't make as much as a specialized surgeon, a spinal surgeon. Why? Because he has focused knowledge. He has focused knowledge. They can take the general knowledge of all codes and crashes and things like that, gunshot wound, whatever you want to say, and take those. But this guy knows how to precisely go in there, or this lady knows how to precisely go in there, and they know how to get something off your spine and keep you from being paralyzed in the process. That's what you call focus. See, it's what you focus on that's important. Are you focusing hard enough on going out there and getting 5 exposures today, or tomorrow, or this week? Are you focused hard enough on giving at least 100 to 200 to 500 brochures out? Are you focused on asking for referrals every time you get a new customer? Are you focused on that? Are you focused on making sure you hit different neighborhoods on your tossing campaign? Are you focused on that when you're doing a table event and people walk by and they act like you're not there? Are you focused on saying, I'm going to get them to notice me? Hey, how are you doing? Have you seen the new products Avon has out? Are you focused on doing that? What is your focus? See, Honda was focused, and 2 long years later, he received the dream contract from Toyota. The dream contract. But guess what? Another problem arose. And what do most people do when they encounter problems? They start complaining. They start you can finish the rest of it. They start moaning, and they do what Joel Osteen called, they have a worm of the dust mentality. And they start telling, when someone starts a sentence to me and Lynette, and they start a sentence saying something to the similar to this, this has not going to work. I just can't see. When we hear that doubtful language, guess what Lynette and I say? This person is not going to never be a national senior executive union leader. Now let's change that. So we just try to help them the best we can, but we know that they're already answering their own question. Because they can't. When you talk to me like, I had one person that had a few troubles when they were getting involved, getting my training products, and a lot of issues with trying to play it. And I love every sentence that this person sent to me. And I don't want to mention her name, and she probably don't know who she is. Every sentence, and she's going to be getting those products soon in the mail. I had a little trouble. I finally fixed it. So it's going to be coming soon. So I remember her saying this. She kept saying every time, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying no matter what I have to do. I'm willing to listen. What do I have to do? That's what we want to hear, to the point where I spent a couple of hours on the phone helping her to try to overcome the issue. And we still didn't quite fix it yet. That's why she's getting the physical product, because of that, because we couldn't quite fix it. But I love the determination, the not willingness to give up. See, I can't stand when someone says, I can't show up somewhere, but can you bring me something from it? Now, you tell me, what do you think we should do? You can't show up to something that's going to show you how to make $100,000 a year, something that's going to show you how to keep your car in your driveway when everybody else is out there building someone else's income. You mean to tell me you can't show up, but you want me to bring you a bag? Please. And I want to add what black people say with the N-word. I want to say it so back, but I can't. Are you kidding me? I'm not bringing you nothing. If anything, I'll bring you some news that wasn't there that you missed out on. I used to love my old upline, one of my uplines. One of my mentors, I used to love him. He used to constantly, when you don't show up, he made you feel like the guiltiest person in the world. And then another upline took that to the max. And you guys heard him on the conference call, Mr. Brian Carruthers. I love that. He made me feel like I missed out on everything when I didn't show up. That's why he makes over $160-something thousand a month. And I don't make that, because he knew that he was supposed to show up. Holden Buggs, who makes $1.2-something million a month, I don't know if that's still a number or whatever, but I know it's a lot of money every single. I know it's over $500,000 to $600,000 to $700,000 every single month. Some people that don't make that in a year. He said, I never missed a meeting when I was in network marketing that I am right now. I never missed a meeting that I didn't qualify for. He said, that means that I qualified for. If I was qualified, meaning that I was allowed to come because of my level, or I was allowed to come because, maybe I qualified in a contest or whatever, I never missed it because I didn't want to miss the information that was given. Doesn't that probably sound like somebody like Honda? And guess what happened with that new problem? The new problem was this. Japan was ready to go to war. So the government refused to give him concrete he needed to build his factory once he got his dream contract from Toyota. Guess what happened? Did he quit? No. Did he complain? No. Did he be and moan and had a worm in the dust mentality? No, he didn't. What he did was he grabbed his team together and he said, hey, boys and girls, guess what we're going to do? We are not going to let the government stop us. We are not going to let this obstacle stop us. We're going to make our own concrete. Holla, that's exactly what he did. We're going to make our own concrete. And that's what they did. See, that's a man who saw a vision, and he saw that he didn't see the obstacles, even though they were big as H-E, and you can spell the rest. He didn't see them. See, I always say, the moment you take your eyes off your goals and your dreams, obstacles start popping up all over the places. You always see, when I first started doing the call, a lot of these calls, these weekly calls, a lot of people heard me reference a story that I loved. And it was called Biker's Boys. And it was a particular person that I loved on Biker's Boys. It was Lawrence Fishburne. His character was named Smoke. And I loved it about these racing bikes. And I loved it. And you know why I liked Smoke's Lawrence Fishburne's character? Because Smoke only saw the finish line. He never saw anything. He would have complete, and if you don't believe me, go watch that movie. He had complete tunnel vision, and all he saw was the finish line. He saw nothing else but the finish line. And that's how come he was the fastest biker out there until the young boy, I can't remember his name, Derek something, and so his character came and he started to develop that same focus, that same tunnel vision in which he only saw his goal, his dream. He didn't see the obstacle. He didn't see the other biker next to him that was racing against him. He saw none of that. He didn't see how loud the bike sounded. He didn't see none of that. All he saw was the goal, and that's Honda. Honda sees nothing but the goal. He saw nothing but the goal. So let's look. After that happened, another problem arose. Whoa! You mean tell me you don't think Honda should have gave up by now? If life is constantly giving him bad stuff, making problems show up, you think Honda should just throw in the towel, maybe crash his first racing bike? What do you think he should have did? He should have quit, right? No. His factory was bombed twice during them and destroying all the major materials that he needed. But did he quit? No. Did he complain? No. Did he moan and have a worm in the dust mentality? No, he didn't. What he did was he grabbed the extra gas cans that the United States fighters discarded and used them as raw materials for his manufacturing process. He called them gifts from Harry Truman. Think about that. He went over another obstacle. So many of you don't even get started because you're too daggone scared. What are you scared of? I did a call where I said, I'm not afraid of success because I never visited success yet. He didn't come to my house, or she didn't come to my house yet. But guess what shows up at my house every so often? Bills, debt, lights going off, cars repossessed. That's what shows up. I'm very familiar with them. I want to kick them out and bring success. So that's what Honda did. He saw the pain. So he wanted to kick the pain out and bring in the pleasure. So he kept going. He kept looking for new obstacles. Soon after, there was a gas shortage, another daggone problem. And he couldn't get to it, in which he couldn't drive to work. Did he quit? No. Did he moan? No. Did he complain? No. Did he have a worm of the dust mentality? No. What he did was he attached a small motor to the back of his bicycle, and to the point where his neighbors started saying, can you make me one like that? Can you make me a motorized bike like that? And to the point where he had to compete again with other motorcycle manufacturers, and he created one of his most popular products called the Super Cub, a lightweight, scaled-down, motorized bicycles. You look on, you probably to this day probably can see somebody, you watch something, a documentary of China, and you probably can, of Japan, you see one of those little scooters running around. Probably is. Because he focused and he knew he was where he was supposed to be at every single time. Now, I'm about to close the call. I'm not sure. I think we're at the top of the hour. Yes, we're at the top of the hour. We got 5 minutes left. But I want you guys, before I go into a little bit of announcements or whatever, I want you guys to write this down. Have you ever heard, you haven't read this yet, have you ever heard the words being said, he's so lucky, she's so lucky? Have you ever heard those words? If you have, please type on the website. Yeah, I heard those before. Type in the fan page. The fan page, the event page. Yeah, we heard those words. Well, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell yourself that does not exist. That does not exist. Let me give you my definition for luck. Because if you think about it, Honda is one of the most popular car manufacturers, in the world today. When you think Honda, you think Toyota, you think reliability. You think ironclad. Ain't gonna be like how the old Fords used to be, found on the road dead. You don't think that. You don't think that when you think of Honda. When you think of that. Because he kept going. But let me give you my definition of luck. Luck to me is when preparation meets opportunity. When preparation meets opportunity, that's when you become lucky. That's when you become lucky. When you're he wanted it so, you got to think about it. They wanted it so bad. Let's look at the story real quick of Les Brown. He so badly wanted to be in the radio business. He went every day to try to get a job. Mr. Washington told him, get out of here. What do you want? No. He waited. Did he complain? No. Did he quit? No. He just kept going and kept getting the door slammed in him. So one day Mr. Washington let him hire him. But it wasn't to be a radio disc jockey. A radio host. So guess what? He was preparing himself. And guess what? An opportunity came where the current DJ was drinking like crazy, and he was slurring. He couldn't talk. And guess what? That was Les Brown's opportunity. And he still wasn't authorized to do it, but he did it anyway and wound up becoming a very popular disc jockey, a very popular DJ in that radio station. See, that's being lucky. When preparation meets opportunity. Now, I told them that we're going to post, when we first decided to make this call, we posted both events, the one about how we generate leads online and the one about this one, which we told everybody this was going to be more motivational. And guess what? I told them that. I bet you we have way more people going to that one than we have going to this one. And guess what she said? She said, why do you think that? I said, it's not why I think that, it's why I know it. More people think that there's a secret to success. They think there's a secret formula or there's a way to write an ad or the proper text that you have to put in an ad in order for you to be successful. They think there's a secret. Everybody thinks, why do you think the movie The Secret was so powerful? Because everybody thinks that there's a secret. Well, I'm here to tell you, there is no secret. When you attend that webinar, which I'm trying to, hopefully I can do a successful Google Hangout, when you attend that, I'm going to tell you, when I show you how I do the things I do and the powerful tools that I use, guess what I want to show you? There is no secret. It's all about remaining patient and engaging in consistent massive action. That's all we do. We don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. We test it. We put it out there. We see what's happening. We see what's attracting, what's not. It's no secret. So don't think that, it's so funny. Holmberg said this. The guy who makes $1.2 million a month. He said this. When I tell people, okay, this is exactly what I said. He said people start pulling out pens and papers. He said that's one thing that's one way to fail in business. See, he said just like this. I want the rah-rah. I want the motivation, the inspiration. I want you to make me feel and believe that I can do it. If I just keep at it, if I stay patient and I get engaged in massive action and I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and I know that when preparation meets opportunity that I will become lucky. He said that. That's what I wanted. I didn't want you to tell me the special magic words that had to be said because there is no magic words. He didn't want you to tell him the special way to post online. Because there is no. When we give you our training products, we never tell you that it's only one way to do it. We never say it's only one way because, newsflash, there is no one way. There is no one way. If you're good at table events, do them. If you're good at talking, do them. If you're good at posting on Facebook, getting people to opt in and give you information and say they want to join, do it. Do it. Do it. See, what you don't do is what's going to keep you from not getting what you want. It's not about what you do. It's about what you don't do that keeps you from not getting it. That keeps you not ranking advancing. It's what you don't do. You know, I love some of the leaders, the top leaders, executives, senior executives that purchase our training products. And guys, why? Because they understood exactly what the deadliest and the worst thing a person can say. They knew that they don't know everything. It's like we don't know everything. And they're not constantly investing and learning and investing time and money trying to learn different things. Because we know we don't know everything. See, people kill me when they say, I know how to post on Facebook, and I know exactly what to say. How do you know what to post on Facebook if Facebook changes something tomorrow? What if they change when you can't post pictures no more? How are you going to get around that? When your whole marketing strategy was just posting pictures, what you going to do? What if they tell you can't put no more website links? How are you going to get people off of there? How are you going to get them? See, you didn't see me say the one powerful tool I use. I said 4. I use a lot more, but they're too complicated to explain in the webinar. These are the 4 simplest ones that I can explain to the average person who may not know too much of what I use. I use more because there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to skin a fish, to skin whoever. There's more than one way. And you got to stop looking for that one way. So to all those people that are coming to the webinar, I'm so happy, but I knew it was going to outweigh tonight. When tonight should have outweighed that. Why? Because you can't do something if you don't believe you can do it first. Write that down. You can't do something if you don't believe you can do it first. I'm about to open up the line and thank everybody for showing up, but Les Brown would have never became a disc jockey, a motivational speaker, if he didn't believe he can do it first. Sylvester Stallone would have never created the movie Rocky. He would have never started it if he didn't believe he can do it first. The Honda would have never had the multi-millions of cars and the things that they created, dollars and billions of dollars, the industry that he has right now, if he didn't believe that he can do it. So to me, you give me the motivation first. To me, I want the vegetables first. Give me that. I'll get the desserts last. I'll get the meat and potatoes last. I want the hard stuff first. Give me the motivation. Give me the belief. Give me that lightning. Give me that energy. I want that first. Then if you want, you can show me the things that you use. Show me what you think that would, and I'll see if it worked for me. Because I want to believe that I can do it first. Because if I don't believe I can do it, you can give me the how all day long. You can give me the material. You can give me the word. You can do it for me. And I still won't get it done because I don't believe it's going to happen. So with that being said, thank you so much, everybody. Please join us for that webinar. I'm going to try my best to do it. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to try to get an hour, maybe 90 minutes. You're going to take a lot of notes. I know that I'm going to always put the factor of why you need to do it. I'm always going to give you that motivational aspect of why you need to do these things. Because if you don't believe it, you won't do it. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the line. And everybody have a great
Gary.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary.
Hey, Gary. Lynette, Jersey Girl says hi. When is the webinar?